Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to Mets Daily. I'm your host, Jake Brown, at Jake Brown Radio on all socials. It's at Mets Daily Show on Twitter. Smash that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and comment below what you think about this. The news of the day. Brett Baty has been optioned to AAA Syracuse. Jose Azocar is sticking around as the Mets get reinforcements. Jeff McNeil is back. He's in the lineup tonight in D.C. Francisco Alvarez is back. He's in the lineup tonight in D.C. as well. Hayden Sanger has been optioned to AAA. Thank you for your service. You've had a pay upgrade from Whole Foods. But Brett Baty has been optioned. Let's set the record clear on Brett Baty. Good kid. He had a great last week, these past 7 to 10 days. He hit a long home run. Again, it's at least an elite pitcher in Zach Wheeler the other day that helped the Mets. But in the grand scheme of things, Brett Baty is not that good. Brett Baty had an option. Brett Baty has had a long sample size over the course of multiple years. And I get the emotional attachment in thinking he's the better piece right now because Jose Azocar might be a fourth outfielder that you don't care about, that maybe doesn't give the Mets much offensively. But in the grand scheme of things, Brett Baty was going to get 3 at-bats a week with Jeff McNeil back. If you're trying to play Acuna every day, who deserves much more playing time than Brett Baty, if you're trying to play Jeff McNeil, and some would argue, hey, I'd rather not see Jeff McNeil, well, you're going to see him. You're paying him $16 million a year. He hasn't got a chance to play yet. He's using a torpedo bat. He's changed his swing. You might get a reinvigorated Jeff McNeil. Maybe you get the Jeff McNeil, the batting champion days. And if you don't, maybe Brett Baty gets his chance. And that's the thing. That's what you got to understand here. This was the move that made the most sense for the roster. Brett Baty had an option. He can get called down, and the Mets keep him in the system. Jose Azocar did not. He would have had to be DFA'd. He would have had to pass through waivers, and there was a chance the Mets were going to lose him. Now, many would say, who cares if we lose Jose Azocar? Well, the Mets care. He's a professional outfielder. He plays better defense. Brett Baty essentially plays 1.5 positions. He's a solid third baseman. He's an okay second baseman, and that's it. Jose Azocar can play center field. You don't have to use Taylor every day. He is a right-hand hitter. Brett Baty hits on the same side that Jeff McNeil hits, so there's no platoon there, where Acuna and McNeil can platoon at second base. McNeil could also maybe, if the Mets want to try him out, play center field. He can play the corner outfield. So Brett Baty just does not provide enough for the Mets to keep him. They didn't want to have to lose Azocar. They might need him either here or down the road at some point. So this made sense. And 1 week of Brett Baty doesn't deny the fact that he hit 204 with a 246 on base this year. It doesn't deny the fact that over the course of his career, he is a 214 hitter with a 279 on base and a 607 OPS. He's had a dreadful major league career. And while this last week and watching him come back to life has been awesome, the reality of the situation that Mets fans have to understand, putting the emotions to the side, is that Brett Baty was not going to play close to every day. He was going to be a pinch hitter and maybe scratch one start a week. Where Luis Angel Acuna needs to be starting. Jeff McNeil needs to be starting. Tyrone Taylor is their best defensive center fielder right now with Jose Siri out. So this made sense, and I know some Mets fans are pissed off about it, but you got to look at the body of work and not the week of work. It's about a body of work, and I thought this was the right move for the Mets. And it's a lineup now with Jeff McNeil and Francisco Alvarez that you should be fired up about. When you look at this bottom of the order today versus Wednesday's game, it's night and day. And like I said, McNeil, torpedo bat, a little bit more of a relaxed swing. Maybe you get a brand new Jeff McNeil. Let's look at the lineup now. The lineup on the left is actually what the lineup is tonight. I drew this up before, the lineup came out, figuring that's what it would be. And look, that's what it was. Call me Houdini. Lindor, Soto, Alonso, Nimmo, Vientos, Winker. And then Alvarez, McNeil, Taylor. Boy, does that look better? I mean, when Alvarez is on, when McNeil is on, doesn't that look a whole lot better? And then you look at the left versus lefties. Nimmo in the cleanup spot, Vientos, then Marte, Alvarez / Torrens. Again, we talked about it with Mark Luino yesterday. Check that out. If you missed yesterday's show, Torrens is still going to play a few times a week, but Alvarez is probably going to play 1 or 2 more games a week. Then Acuna, I would expect to be the second baseman versus lefties, and then Taylor / Azocar, on days off in center field. And maybe they put Acuna out there in center. That's why I put Acuna versus righties there. Do they have Acuna and McNeil playing the same day? We'll see. But this lineup looks so much better if those guys are on. If Jeff McNeil's, the hitter we're used to from a couple of years ago. And Luisangel Acuna keeps playing the way he's playing. And Alvarez, hits 250, maybe hits 15 or 20 homers. As good as Luis Torrens is, Alvarez is considered a better hitter. Luis Torrens had a good couple week sample size, but you got to remember when Alvarez is healthy, he is that guy. And that lineup looks great. That's the lineup tonight for the Mets. And, for a team that is already 18-7 and the best record in Major League Baseball, you now get those two guys added in the fold. This is huge. And it's a great time to be a Mets fan. What do you think? Let me know in the comments the new lineup. And what do you think about Beatty over Azekar? Don't lose sleep. And I get it. You're going to say, what is Brett Beatty? What's the difference? What's he going to do to AAA? We already know he tears up AAA. I get it. But he's going to play every day. Why have a guy sit and rot on the bench? The 26 the Mets have, these guys are going to play. Like, Azekar might not play often, but he gives them the one legit other center fielder on this roster after Tyrone Taylor. Tyrone Taylor can't play 7 days a week. Probably won't play 6. He probably plays 4 or 5. But, and small sample size, but Azekar 3 for 7 so far. It's not like he hasn't hit. And again, like I said, another right-hand bat. That's what the Mets want. So I think you're going to see the platoon between Acuna and McNeil at second base. Acuna is going to be a late-game defensive replacement. He's going to be a late-game pinch runner. And Brett Beatty can make his way back. And if not, he's trade bait. Maybe this last week or two rose some eyebrows of other teams, and the Mets can trade him and make his dream come true to be an everyday player somewhere else. There's just not a spot for him. You also got to remember, the Mets are not far removed from Ronnie Mauricio potentially being back on this team. So when you think about Mauricio versus Beatty, Mauricio is the better hitter than Brett Beatty, plain and simple. Mets have given Brett Beatty his chances. Got to put the emotional things aside. It's 1 week. He had 10 good days, maybe 7 good days. When you look at Brett Beatty and, his recent games, he had the home run. The April 21st for the Phillies, 0 for 2. Cardinals, 0 for 3. Cardinals again, 0 for 1. 1 for 3. Then he had 2 for 3, 2 for 4, 1 for 5, 1 for 4, 0 for 3, 1 for 3, 0 for 3, 1 for 4, 0 for 4, 0 for 1, 1 for 4, 0 for 3, 0 for 2. You get the picture? The grand majority of those games, he stunk it up. And that doesn't mean we're not rooting for him. I'm Mr. Positivity. If you've been following this show and you follow me, I'm the captain of the pod. I'm going to take us through the World Series. But you got to call a spade, and Brett Beatty has not been a good Major League Baseball player. 1 good week versus 4 bad years. You got to look at the big picture. We wish him well. We hope that he gets his way back someday. But let's live in reality and not fantasy. The Mets don't want to lose a player from the roster in Azekar that could be helpful to them when they won't lose Brett Beatty. And they won't lose to the Nationals this weekend because Kodai Senga is kicking off this series in D.C. First place against 4th place. Would love to see another sweep. You got to just go and hope in a win series. The Nationals have been decent so far. They've gotten some decent starting pitching matchups. Let's take a look at the series. Mets-Nationals, 18-7, first place versus 11-14, 4th place. Senga versus Irvin tonight. You got the righty on the hill. Alvarez hitting 7th. McNeil's hitting 8th. Tomorrow, it's Clay Holmes, who continues to pitch well, versus Lord. Lord has not been the Lord and Savior. It's not been very good. The 2 key hitters for the Nationals, and you could include Nathaniel Lowe in there. It's been James Wood and Keibert Ruiz. Ruiz hitting 321. Wood already has 8 homers, 18 RBI, so he's hitting a lot of home runs. And then Sunday, McGill looks to continue to shine against the Nationals' ace so far this year, Mitchell Parker. So those are the pitching matchups. Those are the storylines. The Mets should take 2 out of 3 at the very least, and I think there's a chance they sweep. But the Nationals are no pushover. A lot of people thought the Nationals would have a shot to maybe compete for 500. I wouldn't say playoffs, but some good guys in that lineup, some decent young pitching. But the Mets are the better team, and the Mets are rolling. Winners of 7 straight, the largest attended 7-game homestand in Citi Field history. Going into the weekend, great weather, the vibes are great, and the Mets get McNeil and Alvarez back. Are you fired up? Do the Mets take the series? Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe to Mets Daily right now. If you haven't, click that subscribe button. Smash that thumbs up below. It helps the channel. Comment below. What do you think? Do you disagree with me? Should Beatty be staying? Are my points wrong? What do you think? Did you want Azekar to get DFA'd and Brady to stay? Let me know in the comments. Follow me at Jake Brown, at Jake Brown Radio. We'll be back on Monday. barring big news over the weekend, but we'll likely be back on Monday. So enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the Mets series against the Nationals. I say they take 2 out of 3. And we'll talk to you Monday on Mets Daily. Thanks for watching.